drowning out. Tune in to the thing to be proud about. When you sacrifice and reach your goal, you can look back, clown, and laugh it out. You know the station that's so amazing. Need inspiration and motivation. When you're in your mind with nowhere to go, well then welcome to the Matt Rock Show.
Good evening, everybody across the world. Tuning in here to the Matt Rock Show. I am your host this Monday evening for the next hour. My name is Matthew Rock, a.k.a. Matt Rock. And for everybody tuning in, we have here in the Inland Empire on the radio on 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM. We have people tuning in, listening, and watching. We want to say hello on KCAAradio.com and, of course, the MattRockShow.com on Spreaker. So many amazing platforms. We are so grateful that you are investing your time in your life this Monday evening or whatever evening it is that you are experiencing the show with us. So here in the studio, I have with me Dr. Brett Lucas. Not only is he my chiropractor, an amazing inspiration to me, but a good friend. How you doing, Brett?
Hey, doing well, man. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Hey,
I'd
absolutely.
be lying if I didn't say that. So tonight is going to be a good time. Once again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for investing your time with us. So before we jump into it, Brett, what I want to do actually is last week when I was a special guest, believe that or not, we had three amazing guest hosts, Vanessa, Tim, and we had Reza. So one of them asked a question, and the intention was for me to be as transparent and vulnerable as I could. And the Matt Rock Show mission is to inspire, motivate, and empower young men and women all across the world to live a life of courage, confidence, and passion. And although I feel like I brought 100% of myself to the table, there was one thing I missed out on. So I'm about to be very vulnerable, very blunt, very bold. There was a question that the question was, I believe Reza asked me that. He said, what was one of the lowest moments of your life? And I didn't answer that correctly. And there's no way that I would expect any of you to listen, to watch the show, without me leading by example. So I will give you the correct answer. I won't dive too much into it. Over the past, this was a couple years ago, really. So I was in a relationship. It wasn't a relationship, really, but I was single and I was seeing somebody. And it was a very physical relationship, but it was unhealthy. Very unhealthy for myself, my spirituality, basically my life. And very unhealthy for that young lady as well. And I don't mean younger than 18, of course. This was legal, but yeah, of course. It was very unhealthy for us mentally, physically, and in any sense of the word, just an unhealthy relationship. And what was crazy was I kind of hid behind that in shame and fear, feeling like people would figure the lowest of the moments of my life and had nothing to do with that woman, but really the decisions that I made in my life, how I treated somebody, and it wasn't terrible, but nonetheless, it just wasn't healthy. I wasn't being a man of God that I know I am and I should be, and I didn't lead that in the right way. So basically, I thought almost nobody knew, except a couple of people that I told. Little did I know the entire family that I live with knew for an entire year. And the night that one of my best friends, Tim, told me, he's like, bro, we knew since day one that you were going through this, that you did that. We love you. We support you. Let's go talk about it. I have never cowered so much in fear in my life. But God gave me the courage, the confidence, and the passion to go in there and trust these amazing people that I love and that I live with. And they supported me through what I believe is to be a very low moment in my life. And this was, like I said, when I was single prior to the relationship I'm in now. But there's the correct answer to that question. So I didn't feel right not answering that. So thank you to my friend that actually put me in check last week after they listened to the show. So we also had two more questions, Brett, from last week that I did not answer, and I will dive into them. I didn't pull them up, so hopefully I remember them correctly. So Sabrina Denice from Fountain Valley, California, asked, her question was, what is one of the most important aspects of a relationship between a man and a woman? I have two answers for that. Number one is Jesus. If you don't have Jesus at the center of your relationship, I'm not perfect. He's not always at the center of mine. I'm working on that. But you can't go as far as you want to if you don't have Jesus in your relationship.
Couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm. And number two is passion. You must experience and have passion within your heart for your partner, and you must experience passion together on many different levels. If you don't have that, there's no flame that can keep your authentic and genuine relationship really something that can carry into the distance.
Right, and that's not necessarily just physical either, right? To clarify again,
Way
that's something that
more
branches into
than
every
physical
aspect.
passion.
Yeah.
Yes, spiritual, mental, and on many different levels, like I said. So thank you for that clarification. And the next question was from April Garcia out of Anaheim, California. So her question was, and I'm pretty much paraphrasing, I didn't pull this up, but basically, what was it that really shifted your journey and helped you get to where you are? Sorry, I didn't get the question exactly right, April, but that is a really good question. One thing I want to say is a lot of people, from my experience and what I've heard, is they're so stoked and excited, and they put me on this pedestal. Like, I host my own radio show. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I never thought this would come. And they see that I own my own company. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm making moves in life. But nonetheless, I feel like I'm not even just getting started. I feel like God has so much more in store for me. And it's not even me. So one thing is trusting God, trusting Jesus, and He's my Lord and Savior. And when I trust Him with my journey, He pulls me and pushes me so much farther along in life and uses me as a vessel to inspire people, encourage people. He gives me a platform like this and blesses me with incredible friends and people that inspire people, just like Brett here. And so one is trusting Jesus, and two is going out on a limb, living a life of courage, confidence, and passion. Without that, I wouldn't be here. So April and Sabrina, thank you so much for the questions. Hopefully I answered that authentically. There you go. Let's move on with the show.
Let's do it.
All right, Brett, so we're going to jump into solid rock talk. I'm going to take a moment from talking here. Our book this week is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Now, here's the deal, you guys. You guys are listening to the show. You're watching the show. If you want to watch, you can head over to themattrockshow.com//next episode. Click listen in live, watch now. So what this is about really is this is a three-way interaction. Brett and I here are chopping it up. We're having a good time for the next hour, but you are a part of that as much as we are. So we're going to be talking to you. Hopefully we deliver value that really makes an impact in your life. So here we go. So this week's book is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. So, Brett, take it away. Tell us what this book is about and explain the impact it's had on your life.
Yeah, man. I mean, I could go on and on. This is something that has radically changed my life in the period of a few short weeks. The book essentially takes a lot of things that I had been doing, right, that I've been implementing as success tools, right, things like affirmations, things like doing visualization, right, picturing my life going to essentially the ideal, right? Whatever my ideal is, and I've taken my time to define that. I've actually written down what my life purpose is and what my true definition of success is. So taking time to look at all those things, that's been a part of what I've been doing to become more successful over the last 8 to 10 months. But all those things are starting to get spread out throughout the course of my day, right? And I get busy, you get busy, everybody gets busy.
Big time.
And when that happens, things start to drop out of your life that shouldn't, right?
And that's a good thing.
It's really hard to stay focused on some of the things that are also going to be beneficial, though, right? So for me, these things were getting spread out, and it was a lot harder for me to dial in and really take my time to get everything set to make sure that I was going to have the best possible day, right? At that time, I was also feeling pretty guilty about sleeping in too much. I just had this feeling that I needed to wake up earlier.
Right there with you.
Right at that time, this book dropped in my lap, right? I wonder how that happened. But this book dropped in my lap, and what it essentially is you take these 6 things, all right, and you do them every single morning. You wake up an hour earlier. You can do it in less time. You can do it in more time. I took an hour the first day. I loved it so much. I did an hour and a half the second day,
Nice.
2 hours, and then I've done 3 hours. So I don't always do 3 hours, but I like to take more time because of the effect it's had
That's big time.
on myself. So I literally have started waking up 3 hours earlier than I ever used to, and I have more energy, and I've been able to accomplish much, much more in the 3-4 weeks that I've been doing this. But essentially, the 6 things, we're going to go into them now.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I'll dive deeper into them later.
Okay, great. So the 6 things, they're called the Life Savers, S-A-V-E-R-S. So S is silence, prayer, meditation. The A is affirmations. So I've written out my own set of affirmations. You can find affirmations online. There are a variety of affirmations out there, styles, lengths, all these different types of affirmations. But affirmations A. V is visualization, so taking time to actually picture yourself doing those things and living that life, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's today, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, picturing your perfect life and yourself living it. Feel it, every single detail. The E stands for exercise, so something quick. This isn't your real workout. Right? This is something like do a couple of push-ups, burpees, squats, sit-ups, something to get the blood flowing, get your brain activated, get your body going. And then R is reading. So I take that time and I read my Bible for 10 minutes, and then I'll typically go into something else, some other sort of success book that I'm reading at the time. And then the last S is scribe, journal. something I've wanted to do for a long time. Finally, I've actually started to do it because of the Miracle Morning, and that in itself has proven incredibly valuable for me.
That's powerful. So for those of you that don't feel like mentally you're not thinking that you have an hour, 2 hours, especially 3 hours, you're a rock star. I know you work full time. You have so many amazing things going on in life. For those of you that feel like you have minimal time, maybe this doesn't work out for you. Of course, we're not all about excuses. We're about empowerment. That's what the Matt Rock Show is about. So check this out. You can take care of your miracle morning in 6 minutes. So if you feel like you're busy, this is for you. No excuses. Let's go. So minute 1, right after you wake up, sit in silence. All right. Minute 2, affirmations. Minute 3, visualization. Minute 4, scribing or journaling. Minute 5, reading. Minute 6, exercise. You can take 1 minute to be so present to those 6 categories, and you can alter your life. And then maybe work to 2 minutes a segment. And then 3, 5, 15, maybe an hour. Maybe you could be a rock star like Brett, 3 hours. So we are now accountability partners. High five for that.
Hey, let's
and
go.
I am starting my Miracle Morning Challenge tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing that over the next 30 days with the intention to do this for life.
Stoked for you, man.
So I'm excited. So thank you for this. Get an accountability partner. You guys can check out this book on Solid Rock Talk segment on the mattrockshow.com to dive in more. So moving on to our next segment. I know earlier you were talking about success. Now, I know everybody has different ideas and they visualize success so differently. People can get into
As they
debate.
should.
Yes, I love that. So unique to you, what does success look like to you? There are 5 quotes that I got today from Jim Rohn that I appreciate so much. And whatever success,
incredible.
so amazing, and a mentor to many, including us. These 5 quotes on life success can really inspire you to achieve the success that you're looking for, striving for, and really just driving for in life that you want for yourself. So whatever that is, here are the 5 quotes. These pump me up. So if you need to rewind the show, check them out again. Number 1, from Jim Rohn. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. Now, this is a challenge in itself to take these on, but check it out. Number 2, we must all suffer one of 2 things, Brett. He didn't say Brett in his quote, but I said Brett. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I've experienced both, and the pain I would like to really take on is the pain of discipline, but it is a challenge. So which one do you want to experience for your life? Let's take on the pain of discipline. This man is leading by example, and I'm hoping to follow right with him. 3, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Everybody has their own idea of success. Of course, Jim Rohn does as well. Again, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, maybe the Miracle Morning, practiced every day. Number 4, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. I feel like that's such a good one. I'm going to read it one more time. Actually, Brett, can you read that one for me?
Yeah.
It's number 4.
Yeah, if you are not willing to risk the unusual, you'll have to settle for the ordinary. And I think that's incredibly powerful. It's something that you can take and look at. You could look at that quote every single day, and that's something that'll continue to motivate you to do the things that not everybody does, right?
Yep.
So you don't end up living the life that everybody else lives, where they're wishing for more or they're wishing that they'd done something differently. So that's that. It goes right along with that first one, right? Success isn't it doesn't happen in a day, it happens every day.
Yes.
Right? It's something that you need to put time in every single day, or you're going to settle for that life of the ordinary. And that's not something that I want. It's not something that you want, and I don't think it's something that most of the people watching, listening want.
That's right. So number 5, cinco. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Everybody listening and watching, you have goals. And your goal for those goals is to accomplish them. Check it out. The bridge is discipline. So I hope you enjoyed those 5 quotes by, of course, Jim Rohn. I can't take credit for that myself. So moving forward, we are right on time. I love
it, man.
By the way, this show is only an hour, and we wish it was 3 hours because this is going to fly by. So
Absolutely.
if you guys have listened to the show, you've watched the show before, you know that this is a faith-based show. We are not telling you what to do or how to live your life, whatever that looks like. But we hope that the value that we take on in our lives, you are touched by that. You're moved by that, impacted, inspired, motivated, and empowered to, if you want to take it on yourself and experience it like we do. Hopefully we're prime examples for that. So moving into this next segment on faith, I have a question for you, Brett. For you, what is the difference between religion and faith?
That's a really good question. That's one that I feel like people have written books about, and I'm not one of those people, but I guess I'll give it my best shot here. To me, religion is something that you have to do, right? Or at least that's the connotation behind it, right? Religion is something typically people say man-made. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that, but it is something in my mind that you feel like you have to do, or you can be made to feel guilty about. And something that I've heard multiple people say, some of my good friends, and I would consider them mentors and brothers, is God never makes you feel guilty, ever. And so sometimes I feel like people feel guilty about religion, and that's where I would say you need to take a step further and go into faith. And faith isn't something that you have to do or feel like you have to do, but it's something that you want to do. It's something that you actively, from the core of your being, it becomes who you are, and it's what you believe, and it becomes a guiding force in your life that's more powerful than a set of rules. If that maybe answered it, I don't know, rambled a little bit.
No, that answers it. That's perfect. I was excited to hear more, but we have so much to cover in this show. Thank you, man. So I have another question for you, but first let me introduce what I'm about to have you talk about. So there is a group, an extension of Rock Harbor Church in Costa Mesa, California, and that is called Alpha. And I've experienced Alpha. My girlfriend invited me down to that quite some time ago last year, and it's just been phenomenal. I have not been there as often, of course, as you have. You live locally. I know that it was every Tuesday night they would have free dinner.
Can't beat
the
that.
food.
Come
A
on.
lot of people come for the
Come
food,
on.
and they leave just their lives changed
Yeah, you
because
go
of the
for that alone.
community. Huh?
You can go for that alone and be happy.
Yeah, of course, and a lot of people do. They're so grateful for that. But the food's delicious, so you can experience that. You can experience a community of people that are really relevant to your situation. Some of them have a faith, some don't. Some have been to the church, some haven't. We all start somewhere in this journey. We all have a journey, by the way. But anyway, Alpha's been phenomenal. I know that they have a weekend away at the end of the Alpha series. This goes on a couple times a year. Both of these have been an impact to my life, but I know that they are such huge steps and aspects to your journey with Christ and your personal faith journey in life. So if you could tell me a little bit about what Alpha has done for you, what you appreciate so much about it, especially weekend away, how have they and that experience impacted your life?
Yeah. How I'm supposed to do this in just a couple of minutes, I have no idea. I'll try to keep it short. Alpha, for me, has been something that has radically impacted my faith. And I don't want to say it didn't do it directly, because it played a major role in it, but it was really the other things that happened behind the scenes that Alpha was sort of the key to, right? It was the cornerstone to these other things all coming together. So for me, I was missing a number of things in my life, and one of those things, particularly faith-wise, one of those things was having good Christian men in my life, brothers that I could really fellowship with, talk to, open up with, be vulnerable with, and grow together with. And a man needs other men in his life, right? That's something it's in a number of books, some that we've talked about before prior to this show.
It's so detrimental to our growth as men.
Right, if you don't have that. So that was something that I was missing, and I didn't realize that I was missing it. And I was in church one night, and I was praying during worship, and I was saying, you know what, I feel for some reason I need to get more involved. And then as soon as I said that, an announcement comes up, hey, we've got Alpha coming up, starting this Tuesday. And I'm like, yes, God? Is that, I don't know if you could be more clear. So I went to Alpha, and through the course of Alpha, ended up being invited to a men's Bible study. Now some of those guys are, honestly, some of my best friends. Couple of them, one buddy in particular, my buddy Mike, I meet every single week with him. I don't know if we've missed a week, maybe one, since starting to do that. And it's been somebody that I can use as an accountability partner, right? That I can mentor and I can be mentored by at the same time. I can open up to, I can be vulnerable with, I can share what's going on in my life, in my week, in a place that I know isn't going to be a judgment, place of judgment, but it's also things that I wouldn't feel comfortable sharing with somebody else, like somebody I were in a relationship with. And so there's these relationships that we need to build, and Alpha helped lead me to those through a little bit of a roundabout way that I wouldn't have experienced before, and I would have been missing something and trying to put that responsibility on somebody else, which isn't fair, right? So that was a big, big change for me. Through that, a number of other things happened. My Costa Rica trip, which I think we'll talk about probably in a little while,
We will.
But Alpha has been a chance for me to get together with people, help disciple people weaker than me, learn from people stronger than me, and walk with people who are, in the same place I am. And it's been a really cool place to see some incredible life changes happen. Something that I'm going to be doing for a very long time.
No doubt. And what that really shows me is that everything in our journey at some point really does start with one step. And that step that you chose to make was calling out, praying, or just simply asking for what you were asking for. And it's crazy how immediate that prayer was answered. And not everything is answered the way that you hope or that you would expect it to be.
Right, yeah, that was a fluke. Don't expect that, everybody. That's like never happens ever. But yeah.
Yeah, so faith is not systematic like that.
Okay,
nice
so
yeah, we have a few more minutes before we move on to the next section. So earlier you had said you had read some books, and you are reading some books, of course, that have helped you on your journey as a man of faith. And one of those is Kingdom Man. I know that we've both read Wild at Heart. I have not hit Kingdom Man just yet. It is on my list for sure of books to experience. I know it's going to help me grow as a man.
Yep.
And if you can actually share a little bit of your experience with that book, maybe some ideas, if you can recall, that would inspire the young men across the world that are listening. Maybe it's going to help them on their journey as a man and also a man of faith. Would that be for them?
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of the first books that I'd read on biblical manhood, or really, becoming an upstanding man who's not, a man because you're, tough and don't cry and, you wear flannel and chop down trees all day, right? It's not like that.
With a lot of
cartoonish, right? It's becoming a man who's confident enough in himself, understands his value, understands what his responsibilities and roles are, not only in his life, but in the lives of people in his family and in his community, right? So as men, we have a lot more that we're responsible for than most men realize, especially now with the way society's going and, the turn that we've seen where men are almost backing down. Men don't want to stand up as much anymore. And it's
so
not
many
like
men don't want to.
Right. And it's because it's something that we're called to do, and occasionally when there's something that you're called to do, it becomes something that's difficult. There's a much greater reward, though, when you do something that's difficult. Right? So with this book, one of the coolest things to me that really stuck out in the book was, and it was by Tony Evans, I believe, don't quote me, but I'm almost positive. He did something with his wife, and he talked about this in the book, and he had a system, or a signal rather, where he would do this. So you guys watching, you can see what I'm doing is I'm holding up my hand, and I've got 3 fingers up. And what this would mean is it means I've got it, right? It means those 3 words. So anytime there was something going on in his relationship with his wife, if there was something going on at the home, if there was something going on, anything related to anything that she was involved in, he would take the responsibility for it as the man, right? Now, that didn't always mean he was going to fix it or solve it, right? He talks about that in the book. He goes, not everything always works out.
But he stepped up.
But he stepped up, and he said, I've got it, right? 3 fingers, I've got it. Regardless of what happens, you don't need to worry about it anymore. So he's stepping up and taking the responsibility for whatever the outcome might be. So that then allows his wife to fall into the role that she is supposed to be in, which is biblically following in his footsteps and allowing him to lead and supporting him in that, because she can trust that he's going to be doing that in a way that's going to be protecting her. So it gives her more freedom when she doesn't have to worry about things that aren't her job, because he stood up and did his job, right? And I love that so much, not only for what that's going to do in my future marriage, right? But what that's going to really do in every aspect of my life. As a man, I think to that now, and I think, there are times when I've got to say I've got it, right? Now, even if I'm saying it to myself, sometimes I'll do that, and I'll literally hold up 3 fingers, and people in the room might think I'm nuts or whatever. But
who cares?
It's something that symbolizes to me it's time for me to step up and take responsibility. Whether or not it works out, all I know is that is now on me, and I can't blame anybody else because I stepped up.
That's powerful.
It's freeing.
Yes.
Even when it doesn't work out, it's freeing.
Big time. I love it, man. I remember we actually talked about that when we were in the mountains. I forgot if it was Big Bear, wherever we were at. We were talking about, I can't wait to read that book. So I've got it. Moving forward, if you guys are just tuning into the show, and thank you, Brett.
Absolutely.
If you guys are just tuning into the show, Carlos, we here at the station, of course, want to say...
Welcome to the Matt Rock Show. Welcome to the Matt Rock Show. Welcome to the Matt Rock Show. Welcome to the welcome to the welcome to the welcome to the welcome welcome to the Matt Rock Show.
It's an awesome intro, man.
I love it, man. Thank you, Jimmy Powers.
Gets me
You are
hyped
the
up.
man. So blessed. We do it big here on the Matt Rock Show. All right, moving forward, as I introduced you, Dr. Brett Lucas. You are my chiropractor and a chiropractor to so many people. So many people appreciate you, man. You are making a
thanks,
difference. You got it. But honestly, you're making a difference in so many people's lives, not just because of who you are, not just because of what you stand for, especially as a man, but also as a chiropractor. You got people's backs, man, literally.
Yeah.
So, I went into your office recently. I got an X-ray done, and your spine from the front or back is supposed to look like this. Mine was definitely a C, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have with you to get that fixed, man. So you are now on my team. So this past weekend, were you in Minneapolis?
I was. Yeah.
Minneapolis. There we
yes,
go.
sir.
You just flew out, and I saw you on stage speaking, not from there, but from Facebook
yeah.
Live.
Yep.
You rocked it, man. This
Thank you,
confidence and you got it. Confidence and passion just really flows through you when you speak. You're a powerful presence. So you got to speak in front of 150 of the top chiropractors. I don't know where from, but that's big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that like for you?
150 of the top chiropractors in the United States, which is the largest population of chiropractors.
Ooh.
So, you could argue the world. But, what did that mean to me?
Yes.
It was an incredible experience. I was very blessed, very, very happy and grateful for the chance to do that. It was something that I'd visualized myself doing. Now, again, we talked about all this visualization, affirmations, all these things, and I'd pictured myself on that stage because I go out to Minneapolis about 6 or 7 times a year for seminars, and just to get my fill, get redialed in, to get calibrated back to what I should be and who I should be striving to be. And so I was visualizing myself on that stage. Now, I didn't picture it happening last weekend. I pictured it being much further in the future than that.
Right.
But it's powerful when you start to do these things because things happen when they're supposed to, not always when you want them to. So I was pushed a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It was pushed me a little out of my comfort zone. But God also gave me an incredible peace about it because I essentially prayed to him. I said, let me speak and let it be your words. Let it be your will. Don't speak. Don't let me speak, but speak through me. So he gave me this confidence that he was going to do that, and people were going to hear what they needed to hear. So it allowed me to go up there and relax and just deliver. And it was something that was an awesome experience, and I can't wait to go back and do it again. I'm going to be on that stage again soon.
Yeah, you are.
And, and hopefully many, many more because it was a fantastic thing. And I know that I reached out to some people because, I had numerous people coming up to me afterwards telling me that I had touched them in some sort of way during that speech. And it was powerful for me to hear that.
It was powerful for all of us that got to experience that. And that inspired me, too, as a public speaker. And I do believe that when we step out on faith, God steps in. And that's exactly what he did for you, man, as a vessel. So that's incredible. So what are some of the health benefits of chiropractic care? Why should people do this? I know a lot of people, and I used to be one of them, sees chiropractic care really as a luxury, like a massage, as a luxury. Maybe it's something I could pay for when I have more money. But I do believe there is an importance to chiropractic care. And then when you see somebody's grandmas and grandpas looking like this, you see the importance. I'm not trying to look like that when I'm older. We got to take care of ourselves, not only with our nutrition, but chiropractic care. I do believe that. And I'm grateful for also your expertise and your knowledge and you being on my team for this. So could you explain some of the importance and health benefits and why for chiropractic care?
Yeah, man, this is, again, something I could go on for hours on, and it's something that I get incredibly passionate about. It's something that really, it's not a career for me. And there was a time when it was. There was a time when that was a career, and that was before I really learned the philosophy behind chiropractic. Why chiropractic? At that point, to me, chiropractic was back pain, neck pain, headache. And that's what it is for most people. I'm sure most of you listening, if you have heard of chiropractic, you're going to immediately associate it with back pain, neck pain, headache, maybe a couple of other symptoms thrown in there. But in its core, chiropractic is not about symptoms at all. And that might confuse some people because you say you're a doctor, you're supposed to be taking care of people and making them feel better. And while that's true, that's not the purpose of chiropractic. That's not really how chiropractic works.
I'm over here fixing my posture, just trying to
right.
get right.
Like
Feel
I'm
like I have
judging
an
you or
S curve
something.
because I'm like this.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so I mean, it really isn't about fixing those things. What it's about is, and there's, oh man, I'm already getting like fired up here.
I love it.
There's something called innate intelligence in everybody, right? And that's something that I believe God instilled in every single person. You may not have faith, but everybody has innate intelligence, and I can promise you, you believe in innate intelligence because what took you from 2 cells and turned you into a human being? There's some sort of guiding factor, and that is innate intelligence, right? So you can call it something that God put in you, or you can call it something else. That's fine. But there's some sort of innate intelligence in the body that took you from 2 cells and turned you into a human being. That doesn't stop once you're born. And that's where a lot of times people think the miracle of birth, right? The miracle of birth, it's incredible, but how about the miracle of life? The fact that people go from 2 cells into a human being, and throughout the entire course of their life, from conception to death, there's this thing called innate intelligence that is running and organizing every single function that happens in your body. You don't think to make your heart beat. Something else is doing that. You don't think to digest your food, right? You just popped a mint. You're not sitting there going, okay, release extra saliva. It's going to go down into my stomach. I've got to release all these other things, break it down. I've got to take all the little building blocks from that and turn them into whatever good things I can in my body.
None
right?
of that
all
process
of those
in
things,
my mind.
Yeah. All of those things are happening, though, every single day, every single millisecond. And the thing that guides it is innate intelligence. And innate intelligence is allowed to do that through the nerve system. So the brain is the supercomputer in the body. I ask people all the time when I do health talks and we do different events, what runs the body? And about half the time people say brain, and about half the time people say heart. So that just goes to show so many people don't know what really is controlling the body, and that's the brain. And it does that because that's where that innate intelligence is essentially stored. It travels down the nerve system to every single organ, cell, tissue, gland, muscle in the entire body, telling it what to do and when every single millisecond. So if there's a blockage, hypothetically, you're not going to be able to function the way you should be functioning, right? So let's take, for example, the nerve to your heart. If I cut the nerve to your heart, what happens? Your heart dies.
Pretty much.
You're not doing well, right? So what if I take that nerve and I cut 50% of it? Are you sicker or healthier?
Sicker.
Sicker. So if I were to take that nerve where it comes out of the spine and pinch it and kink that hose, so 50% less function in that nerve, are you going to be sicker?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I just want to get the right answers here.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I should have gone over this with you ahead of time so you knew exactly. But yes, obviously, right? You're going to be sicker. And so what I do as a chiropractor is I don't necessarily look at that and say, okay, somebody's going to have pain up here in the upper neck or tension because that's where those nerves come out. And that might be something that you feel, but you don't feel your heart. And 80% of the time, the first symptom of heart disease is death by heart attack or stroke.
Ooh.
So if that person doesn't feel bad, were they healthy? No. And so what I do as a chiropractor is I relieve the pressure from the nerve system so that your innate intelligence can function properly, so your body can do what it's supposed to do, right? And when your body can do what it's supposed to do, you're going to feel better. When you function better, you will feel better. If I remove just biomechanical stress off the spine, yes, your low back pain is most likely going to go away. Your neck pain, most likely going to go away. Headaches, most likely going to go away. But what about the pancreas problem that you can't feel that could be leading to an insulin, insulin release issue that's making you predisposed to diabetes, and you have no idea? But that's something that, as a chiropractor, it frustrates me because my profession has done a terrible job of educating people. People don't know that. And so people say it's a luxury. They say, I feel fine, and that's fine, but you can have up to 40% loss of function of an area of your body and not have any symptoms.
Ooh.
So you could be functioning at 60% power in your heart and not have any idea. Now, we wonder why heart disease is such a big issue in this country, especially when, again, those nerves come from right here. And what is everybody doing all day on their computer?
Hunched over.
Hunched over, looking
Chipping
down,
away
head
at it.
forward.
Yep.
And so that's a place that's going to have a lot of stress. Heart disease, one of the top killers in the United States. Is that a coincidence? Absolutely not. Something called the Windsor autopsies. A doctor did a bunch of autopsies of bodies, and every single heart disease case, the nerve or the spinal segment where the nerves came out that fed into the heart had dysfunction in it. Same thing, everybody that died of liver-related causes, the section of the spine responsible for the nerves going to the liver was under dysfunction. Kidneys, same thing. Every single case had that. So if there's dysfunction in your spine that you're not feeling, you need to have that addressed because you don't know what you don't know.
Big time. So, for those of you that are watching internationally, we have a lot of countries that we've actually hit with the show. And Will, if you're watching internationally or you're watching across the country, we are here in the Inland Empire in Orange County, California. Reach out for some referrals if you are inspired or touched to make sure that you take care of your body with chiropractic care.
Absolutely. That's something, to me, it's, like I said, it's a passion. So it's not a career for me. It's not, I don't care if you're going to come see me or if you're going to go see somebody next door to me or if you're going to go see somebody down the street, a different county, a different country. If you hear this and you feel like you've got something that might be going on that you want to get checked out, you've got no pain, great. If you've got something that you're like, I've got a severe health issue and I feel like if my body functions better, I can be better, which is true, then reach out to me and I will absolutely do my best to find a referral for you, somebody who's going to be good and can take good care of you in your area so that you can get the health care that you need.
Thank you so much for that. And you can actually get a hold of Brett via email. You can also follow him on Instagram, add him on Facebook. All of that information will be available on themattrockshow.com underneath the tab of Season 1 episodes. Scroll down, you see Episode 12 with this guy on it, and you'll be able to reach right out to him. Make sure that you do. That'll be available after the show starting tomorrow. So moving forward, we're going to talk about adventure for a little bit. Really looking forward to this. So adventure is something that I think everybody wants to take a part of in life. They want an adventurous life to live. They want to experience an adventure. Not many people do. They don't live a life of courage, of confidence, or passion. So hopefully over these next 20 minutes, we can really inspire you, motivate you, encourage, empower you to take on a life of adventure. So one of the adventures I know that you undertook, an adventure looks like whatever it is that makes you feel joyful and many other things. One of the things that you've experienced, Brett, I saw, and if you saw on the mattrockshow.com, a picture of you skydiving.
Yes.
I'm terrified to go skydiving. I may or may not do that one day.
Oh, you have to. That's a may. You
All
may
right,
do it.
Peer pressure. So I guess I will one day.
That's right.
Got to put a date on that. Oh, boy. But what was that like for you, very briefly? And, what was your favorite part about that?
Oh, man. One of the coolest things I've ever done in my entire life. I mean, I was laughing, screaming. I mean, the whole everything,
Falling
right?
to your death. Yeah.
It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. I went for a friend's birthday. We went down, we jumped out of Oceanside, and I was lucky enough, I think lucky, I don't know, I was the front of the plane. And so for me, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the movie Point Break, right? The classic Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, unbelievable movie, adventure sports, action, all that stuff. But when they go skydiving, that's always been something that I thought was insanely cool, and I would love to do it one day. Had the opportunity to do it, jumped on it, and I was in the front of the plane. So I was in the very first one out, and I was sitting up there with all the professional jumpers, right?
Yep.
All my friends were behind me. I couldn't see them because you're strapped on to somebody else. You're going tandem, and
Getting chills.
and I was the first one, and so the guy just kind of scoots us up towards the edge, and he goes, "You ready?" I go, "Yeah, sure." And next thing I know, I'm out of the plane flying. Like, there was no take a second, think about it. There's nothing, and I loved it because it was pure, unadulterated, just go juice. Like, it was awesome.
Go
and you're
juice,
You're
yes.
just out, and I mean, there's literally nothing that can compare to it. And people get worried all the time because I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, look, if you've flown in planes before, so while you're in the plane, it's not that big a deal because you feel safe in the
terrified.
plane. And then once you're out, you're so high that your brain can't really compute it. You've never been that high outside of a plane before.
Right.
So your brain can't compute that and go, I'm afraid I'm going to fall off and hurt myself because you're so high. So it's a completely different feeling than I expected to feel. But the adrenaline was real. The fun was real. I landed, and I want to eventually get certified. I want to go do solo dives all over the world. That's how powerful of an experience it was for me.
That's inspiring. I hope that I do it one day. And I know that the phrase
I'll
one
go.
day
I'll
or
go with
some-
you.
Okay, thank you. I know that the phrase one day or someday is a dream killer right there, a life
That's
killer.
right.
So, all right. So next adventure, you went to Costa Rica. We'll have to breeze through this in a minute or two. But Costa Rica recently for you, I don't know if it was late 2016 or early 2017, but what was that like for you? Because I know that you invited people. You ended up going by yourself.
Right.
And, that's inspirational in itself to travel by yourself, to step out on a limb like that. What was that like for you, that adventure?
So it was December, late 2016.
Okay.
And I felt like I was reading all these books, Kingdom Man. I was reading Wild at Heart, all these different books on biblical manhood or on just manhood in general and how we need to explore. We need adventure. That's something that men crave, and most men let that part of them die, and they wonder why they're unhappy.
Yes, and check out episode 3 of the Matt Rock Show to dive deeper into, of course, Wild at Heart.
Yes. So I was reading that book. I heard a couple different people speak things at a seminar. I heard different sermons. People spoke things to me, and all of those things, for some reason in my mind, were just encouraging me to go out on a limb and do something and go somewhere. So I decided I was going to go to Costa Rica. I've always wanted to do a surf trip somewhere, and that just Costa Rica's always sounded good to me. So I decided I was going to go, asked a couple people, really only asked my brother. He couldn't go. I thought it'd be a cool bonding experience for us. He couldn't go, and it ended up working out really, really well because what it did was it forced me to get out of my comfort zone completely and go to a foreign country by myself. I've been learning my Spanish, so I could speak with some people, so that helped.
Yeah.
But having jumped on that opportunity, I had I had the most powerful experience of my entire life on my way back from Costa Rica because of that trip. And that's something that would not have happened. And I wish I had so much more time to dive into it. But that would not have happened, and I wouldn't have experienced that if I weren't willing to just go for it and do something that was just a little bit scary.
I love it, man. That inspires me, too, so I should be taking some travel trips soon. So let's see. You have 3 tips. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. 3 tips to inspire and really empower you as the viewer and listener to take action towards living a life of adventure or increased adventure. What are your brief 3 tips for those that are listening and watching that can help them live a life of adventure?
All right, so 3 tips. First one, listen. You need to listen intentionally, right? So it's not just listen to what people say, but it's listen as in pay attention to what might be being spoken to you at a deep level, right? You can hear things from many, many different sources telling you what you should be doing or where you should be going if you just are able to listen. So that's my first one. If I didn't do that, if I didn't listen to the book and to the people that were speaking into my life, I never would have had the idea to go. Second one would be go with your gut. Once you have that feeling, maybe I should do this, do it. And the longer you wait, the more you're going to hesitate and the less likely you're going to be doing it exponentially. That drops so fast. So if you don't go with your gut, if you feel like you got to go, your innate mind is so incredibly powerful. If it says to do it, do it. And then the last one is, for me, this is something that's personal, but it may help some of you guys. Everything that I do is based on me picturing who I want to be and then trying every day to get closer to that person, right? Not necessarily to think of things I want to do, but who do I want to be? Not what I want to have, but who do I want to be, right? And I want to be that person who's looking back at all of these fun adventures and memories and things that he had, not that person going, oh, I wish I'd have done that one time. So for me, anytime I'm a little, should I do this or not? Should I push it off a couple of weeks? It helps me to go, no, I want to be that person who looks back and goes, I did it.
Be like Nike and just do it.
That's right.
Free marketing for Nike right there. I love it, man. I as well have 3 tips for you. Now, when you think about the word adventure, you might think about traveling. You might think about going across the world. You might think about doing scary things and things that make your heart beat faster. There are some things that I want to encourage you to do. Hopefully these 3 touch you in some way. These could be everyday life things. So number 1 is brain dump a fear list. So mind dump. You sit down and put 10 minutes on the clock, and whatever comes to mind when you think about what am I afraid about, what scares me, write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. And then after you're done, after the 10 minutes, be like, great, I have my fear list. Now I'm going to attack this fear. I'm going to face it, and I'm going to conquer it for a week. It'll be a work of progression and a journey, but take that. You ready to take that on?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've done this before, and it's been big time for me. So try that out. It's going to make your heart beat faster, and it's a journey in itself to face and conquer a fear. Number 2, for all the single ladies, all the single fellas out there, try this. We are in an age of a digital age. So many people are using Instagram and Facebook and text to reach out to people, and they don't know how to approach them in person. Try this out, and I know the ladies are going to appreciate it when you do it. And if the ladies have courage to do this, try it out as well. So if you're single, while out and about, wherever you are, introduce yourself to an attractive stranger. You see an attractive stranger, and you're like, wow, they're attractive. So guess what? Go up to them with confidence. Don't hang your head down. Look at them, strive towards them in confidence, and tell them that you couldn't help but notice how attractive they were and that you had to introduce myself. Hey, I just had to tell you that you are extremely attractive. You're very pretty. My name is Matthew. How are you doing today? Who's gonna not appreciate that? Even if they're with somebody, let's say, that was flattering, thank you so much, I'm in a relationship, they might move on. But that takes a lot of courage, and that's gonna get you extremely out of your comfort zone. And guess what? You might find a life partner out of that. But that is a journey in itself, and that's gonna be pretty fun. If I were single, that's exactly what I would be doing as well. Instead of behind a computer screen, afraid to show somebody my true self. Try that on for size. Number 3, sing your favorite song bold and loud for all to hear. I was in the shower yesterday, and I was jamming to Aladdin Broadway, and I was singing so loud, and I thought, you know what, if I'm going to live a life of courage, confidence, and passion, I might as well just belt it out. I am not a singer. Well, if I literally sing, I'm a singer, I suppose, but I'm not a great one, I don't think, and it really was freeing. So, Brett, I think we may or may not have we actually may have a song for you to sing today.
Oh, boy.
This should be a good time, so for the viewer and listener pleasure, Carlos, let's take it away for Brett and a little bit of Zach Brown Band. Have fun, and feel free to bring it up a little bit.
After all this talking.
After all this talking, sing away. Have fun.
She'd take Colorado if he'd take her with him.
That deep voice, man.
Closes the door for the winter, lets the cold in. And wonders if her love is strong enough to make him stay. She's answered by the taillights shining through the window pane. He said, I want to see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Can I call you then? She said, you're a rambling man, and you ain't ever gonna change. You got a gypsy soul to blame, and you were born for leaving. At a truck stop diner just outside of Lincoln. The night is black as the coffee he was drinking. And in the waitress' eyes he sees the same old light is shining. He thinks of Colorado and the girl he left behind him. He said, I want to see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Can I call you then? She said, you're a rambling man, and you ain't ever gonna change. You got a gypsy soul to blame, and you were born for leaving. Born for leaving. Well, it's a winding road when you're in the lost and found. You're a lover, I'm a runner, and we go round and round. And I love you, but I leave you. I don't want you, but I need you. You know it's you that calls me back here, baby. But I'm stuck in colder weather. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Can I call you there? 'Cause I'm a rambling man. I ain't never gonna change. Got a gypsy soul to blame, and I was born for leaving. Born for leaving. When I close my eyes, I see you. No matter where I am, I can smell your perfume through these whispering pines. I'm with your ghost again. It's a shame about the weather, but I know soon we'll be together. And And I can't wait till then. I can't wait till then.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for stepping out on Courage. You rocked that, dude.
Hey, thanks, brother.
I dream most days of waking up super sick, so I had a deep voice like that. I know so many people appreciated that, loved it. That was very entertaining and enjoyable. Thank you, man.
Hey,
Killed
thank
it.
you. Yeah, thanks.
So we're about to close the show in just a minute. Carlos, don't play it yet, but if you can actually pull up Zach Brown Band, Chicken Fried, we might actually duet on that in a moment. Why not?
Oh, boy.
But now to close out the show, Brett, I want to say thank you so much for being a special guest on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Of course, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you here. Thank you so much for rocking with me and rocking with us as a community, as a movement, globally. Of course, the Matt Rock Show is all about, and you could play the closing song. This show is all about inspiring, motivating, empowering people to live, young men and women to live a life of courage, of confidence, and of passion. And I feel like we're leading people in the right direction. So thank you so much. You guys take the Matt Rock Show with you wherever you go. It's not about me. It's not about Brett. It's not about us. It is about you and all of us collectively living a life worth living. Step out on fear. Let God move in your life. Go to themattrockshow.com to share this with people and to check out next week's episode where my girlfriend, Lindsay Chandler, will be the special
that
guest.
One might get spicy. Keep it G-rated.
Oh, PG. It's going to be a good time. We may or may not duet. Oh, I can't wait. That'll be so
Me
fun.
neither.
So,
I'm going to be watching.
there we go. I appreciate it. We love you guys. Tune in next week. Share this with your family and your friends. Check us out on the Matt Rock Show YouTube as well. And you ready to duet to a little bit of Zach Brown Band to close out the show? We got 3 minutes.
All right.
Yeah? Chicken Fried. Let's play it.
Sunrise, there's a fire in the sky. Never been so happy, never felt so high. And I think I might have found me my own kind of paradise.
We're getting it. We're getting it.
Wrote a note, said be back in a minute. Bought a boat and I sailed off in it. Don't think anybody's gonna miss me anyway.
Oh, we're ready. Blast it. Hopefully I remember the words. Let's do this, Brett.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the no prep time.
Of course. I didn't even know this was going to happen.
Hey, you got to go with your gut sometime.
You know I like my chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night.
Maybe a Monday
A
night.
pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
On the MattRockShow.com. Here, and only here on Street Radio, KCAA Radio. Let's keep this up. We got a minute.
Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, homemade wine, where the peaches grow. In my house, it's not much to talk about, but it's filled with love that's grown in southern ground, and a little bit of chicken fried. A cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. It's funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most. Not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a piece of mind, this I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love.
I'm having a good time. You having a good time?
Absolutely, man. This
You
is a
guys have
blast.
had an incredible hour with us. We love you guys. This is the Matt Rock Show. Confidence, courage, and passion. We hope you sing with us. We're rocking out to close out the show. Mondays don't stop. Let's make it so. Mondays rock.
It's true. to
that.
until I lived in South Carolina for 4
Thank
years.
God for my life, and for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of my precious child, and know a mother's love. It's a little chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right.
Here we go.
And the radio up. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of my precious child, and know a mother's love.
This is our Monday night. Have a good week, you guys. We're going to close out. Thank you so much.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
And crystal clear from sea to shining sea, and all the way from cold to freezing cold, and everywhere there is in between. It is such an